I'm Cindy Robinson. 44% of American college students report having symptoms of depression, but according to one health publication, the majority of students with mental health issues will not seek help. Reporter Rebecca Sai investigates the stigma on depression.
Underneath the serene look of a college campus, some deal with a disease that's deeper than sadness, that's more than just a bad day. It's depression, and according to the American Psychological Association, 1 in 3 college students had difficulty functioning this past year because of it.
There was a point where I was sleeping, I think, 12 to 15 hours a day in between classes, in between times of when I wanted to go out, and there was just almost a feeling that sleep could take everything away. Sleep could make everything disappear.
I remember just waking up every morning and not being able to get out of bed. It would always come down to my mom having to literally drag me out of bed just to get me ready to go to school. And even then I would want to lay down on the bathroom floor and not move.
Depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. It has many triggers like a heavy course load, poor eating habits, or financial problems. But according to psychologist Kelly Greco, one of the biggest reasons for depression on a college campus is being away from the familiarity of home.
What I hear a lot of students say is, I came from an environment where everybody knew me and it was very structured and it felt safe, whereas people come to a university such as USC and they feel like a number and everyone is at the top of their class and there's competition and they come and they may not know anybody.
But depression can hit anyone. It doesn't matter how successful you are. Paul is a newly elected USG senator. He told me that when he went through a depression, he didn't ask for help because he believed his condition would be downplayed.
Being told that it was just a phase by your parents, you don't feel comfortable telling your own peers or friends at school what you're going through, because if your own parents don't understand, then they certainly won't either.
But although 1 in 3 students deal with depression, 75% do not come forward. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, one of the top reasons why students don't come forward is because they are afraid of how others will look at them.
And I was even afraid to do this interview today because honestly, I was like, I didn't want people to see me differently or like, oh, that's not the Jillian that we know. Or, honestly, I feel like when we think of mental health, we view it as like a weakness.
Especially in college is a time where you're kind of defining yourself and kind of representing who you are and who you're growing to be, from professors to classmates to sisters and brothers and sororities and fraternities. And for them to know that a part of you isn't this polished person that you're constantly trying to be, I think that's really the hardest part for college students to admit.
According to the Center for Collegiate Mental Health, 30% of college students being treated for anxiety or depression said that they have seriously contemplated suicide. And suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst college students ages 20 to 24. Several news stations, including our very own USC Annenberg Media, are reluctant to report on suicides. This became apparent when a USC student committed suicide in an off-campus apartment, and it was not reported by Annenberg Media. ATVN Director STACY Shoulder spoke with me about that decision.
You don't want to encourage people to, or even to have this notion that if somebody commits suicide, they're going to have their 15 minutes of fame, which is really terrible. And it's a tragedy. I mean, we cover a lot of tragedies in news. When somebody chooses to take his or her own life, I don't know that's news.
There are many ways students can deal with feelings of depression, like taking medication or getting counseling. In all, these students who battled their own depression hope that speaking up will inspire others to do the same. Reporting for Annenberg Media, this is Rebecca Sai.